Okay, so the next part in Savitch C++ edition 10 on 6.3, I want to spend some time on this program example to check the input. So remember, we always want to check the input to be sure we have correct input. So for this one, or in any other case, we have to think about it. That's what's the best way of handling the input. Of course, if I have the user in front of the computer, I can ask the user to enter it again. But if I'm reading from the file, we have to make a decision what we're going to do with the bad data. Do we throw it away? Do we change it to something that we want? Do we have any default value that we can replace it? Those are some of the things we can think about. So the simplest way is if I see a data that doesn't fit with what I want and the user is not there, I just throw it away. And we're going to talk about it later. How do we do that? So we have an input function, an example here, that's going to ask the user if what they enter for a number, is that a correct one or not? And then we want to repeat it if the user say the number is not correct. So we are asking a user for a number, and then if that number is not correct, we want to ask them again. So this is the display 6.7, and in here we have, we're going to ask the user to enter an input. We're going to read the number, and then we are asking the user, we're just going to tell them, and it's going to say, is that correct? So if the user says yes, we are asking them for yes and no. So if the user says yes, we don't want to continue. But if it says no, we want to go back and ask again. Now we have the way that we're going to ask is yes and no. But we are just going to be checking for character Y, either lowercase or uppercase. That means if the user types in yes, we're going to get the character, just the beginning character. And then if it's Y, we're going to stop. But if it's anything else, then we're going to go back and ask again. Now, if I am looking at the yes from the user, and the user just type it in yes, lowercase, uppercase, and I read one character, I have to get rid of the rest of the stuff. Remember, I have YES, new line, enter key. So I have to get rid of those things. And that is our new line to get rid of the rest of the stuff. Now, how do we know which one to use? Are we going to be asking the user to type in yes? Then we're going to have an issue that some people like myself, they may have what we call it fat finger, or being sloppy and just type yes and something else. Or misspelling it, wrong key. So those are the issues that come in. But if I just read one character, the chances of putting the Y at the beginning is a lot less. The next one is, why don't we ask the no? Because we're going to get to that. And let me show you where we are with that one. So The new line function is going to get rid of everything that we have from that point to the rest of the line. So basically, it's going to consume everything. Remember, if I read something, but I don't do anything with it, it's just like I'm throwing them away. So I don't delete them. I just read them, consume them, but I don't do anything with it. So if I read and not to write it somewhere, that's the way we're going to get rid of the characters. So in the case of having YES, we read one character of Y, we have to get rid of ES and the \n, which is the new line. So I could potentially have type in yes with a space at the end and \n, or I could put a bunch of spaces at the end. It's going to get rid of everything up to \n. So this is the checking input display 6.7 that we are getting a number from the user. And inside of that, we're going to check it to be sure this is correct. So the way that we're going to do it is we have this new line. We're going to, in this case, is using do while. Again, I wouldn't use the do while. I would put the cin out and then read it as a while loop. But it's going to keep doing it till it reaches \n. So it's going to read the characters and don't do anything with it till \n. That means I am deleting everything after it. So I have yes, I read the character Y. This, I'm going to call this function. It's going to read E, it's going to read S, it's going to read any spaces I have after S, it's going to read \n, and it's going to stop. I am going to stop right here, and I'm going to come back with inheritance and output.